We gather here today to honor the life of a Bravo legend. He wasn't a housewife, he never threw a drink, and yet he left an imprint on this franchise that will never be forgotten. Godzilla, the 30-year-old Cuban iguana, was more than just a reptile. He was a pillar of his Bravo community, a silent observer of the drama, a beacon of resilience in a world of chaos. In a world of snakes, you stayed an iguana, Godzilla. But alas, even the strongest among us must one day take their final bow, or in Godzilla's case, their final sun nap. So today, we say goodbye to a true icon. May he rest in peace, forever free from the screaming confessionals, the over-the-top dinner parties, and the ever-looming threat of being turned into a handbag. Rest easy, Godzilla. May your next life be in a franchise that deserves you. And now let's talk about the real drama this week, because Godzilla would have wanted us to move on. Hi, everybody. My name is Lindsay, and I'm a Bravoholic.
You're preaching to the choir. Bravo, bravo, bravo.
Honey, you have to stop saying that.
Welcome back, Addicts. My name is Lindsay, and I'm a Bravoholic and your host of this show. If it's your first time listening, we have a lot to cover, so I think there'll be something in here for all of you. And right off the bat, I need to talk about the Godzilla funeral on Denise Richards' new show, Denise Richards and the Wild Things. And if you aren't watching that show yet, you really need to. And I'm not just saying that. Denise Richards is a very complex creature, and she has a really authentic heart, and she has really good intentions, and she's TV gold. Her one-liners, her family, the juxtaposition of daughters. I know I covered it last week, but if you're starting to listen today and you've seen clips and you're like, I don't know if it's worth my time, trust me, it's worth your time. And I'm not just saying that because Godzilla died. Well, in the news, there's been a super bloom of Bravo celebrity podcasts. And this week, Cynthia Bailey and Crystal from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills both made an appearance on the Viall Files to promote their new podcast, which is called Humblebrag. I can't imagine this show of theirs will last long because, you know, Crystal didn't last long. She was quite boring. But they appeared on the Viall Files, and sound bites are being passed around of Crystal confirming rumors that Dorit isn't paying her stylists or her glam squad. And I just hate to see Crystal taking a note out of Sutton's book and like spreading these rumors. I mean, why use the platform of the Viall Files? I mean, I get it. Okay, she's using the platform of the Viall Files to talk shit about a housewife that was on a show with her because she probably wants to be brought back on the show. And even if Dorit is facing financial problems and she isn't paying people, which isn't right, she should definitely dial it back on the glam and everything and just do her own makeup. Because I know she can. She's got great taste. Just do it yourself, which she might be doing now. But at least historically, there are people popping up saying they haven't been paid yet. So that really sucks. I think Dorit could easily get a rich boyfriend that could easily sign off on all these bills, sign away PK's apartment drama. There's also rumors going around of PK not paying his rent for his apartment and that he might be kicked out or something. But who knows if this is all true. I think we learned during the Kyle and Mauricio drama that a lot of people are going to come out of the woodwork and say a lot of things. And unless someone's filing a lawsuit, unless someone's pressing charges or taking someone to small claims court or whatever, and there's something legally documented, I'm not necessarily going to believe it. So I think this could just be a case of Crystal and Cynthia looking to elevate their platform in their new podcast. But This isn't the only thing that has me thinking about Nick Viall this week in his podcast. I'm thinking that there could be a potential podcast feud brewing up. So in the last couple of weeks, Heather McDonald of JuicyScoop has had Nick Viall on her podcast. She appeared on his, and then she had Dave Neal of The Rush Hour appear on her podcast. And first, when Nick showed up, he had a lot to say about Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively's battle. He's on Blake's side. He took the stance that Heather, and a lot of the questions he asked was like, Heather should prove Justin's innocence versus what evidence does Blake have that she was sexually assaulted by Justin Baldoni. And Dave Neal came on and kind of pointed out on that podcast that there was an outcry of Juicy Scoopers that weren't happy with what Nick was saying on the podcast because he called out Justin for virtue signaling, that having a podcast that talks on behalf of women, how women should be treated, and kind of putting himself in a position of like knowingness and of being a better person because he's done the work and he can speak on behalf of how to treat women, and that Nick doesn't like that. Nick also shared that he met Justin and really didn't get good vibes from the guy, didn't like the guy. Dave then called him, without saying it, okay, but called him a hypocrite and was like, you have a dating podcast and you basically do the same thing about dating and giving people advice. So he just like, you know, we all think it's like kind of interesting that Nick has no problem calling out Justin for virtue signaling, but he's kind of like doing the same thing. Dave Neal also pointed out that there was a lot of similarities to the Amber Heard Johnny Depp case, which I was obsessed with when it came out. I watched every hour of that trial, and if this goes to trial, it better be on YouTube or live stream somewhere because I'm going to be watching it. And he said that Amber Heard ruined her credibility when she lied about the donation to the ACLU and then like went back on her word and was like, oh, well, I made a commitment to donate. I didn't do it yet, but I made a commitment to do it. So he said that once you lie in court in front of the jury one time, like it's believable that you could be lying more. And that was kind of like the nail in the coffin for her. And he's saying that Blake's already doing that by saying that the birth video that Justin showed her was corn. I kind of agree. I mean, at least right now, it's just the court of public opinion and it's not a jury thing. They could go to court next year. I think it's like March 26th. They're talking about doing it. Another thing that Dave pointed out that I thought was really interesting in this conversation is that the New York Times article that was published that had text messages in it, one of the shared text messages was from Justin Baldoni's public relations team. And Nick referenced it and was like, they're admitting guilt in this text message. And Dave was like, hold on. There was an emoji left out, an emoji at the end of that sentence that gave all the context to those words in the text message that was left out of the New York Times article. And it was an upside down smiley face, like a goofy, playful, sarcastic toned, like silly emoji. So the sentence with that emoji at the end would mean something entirely different. And basically, I don't think these guys are really going to go into a feud. I don't think they're really going to fight, but I do sense tension. And if they do go into something, or if they do debate down the road on Juicy Scoop, which would be a great idea, Heather, host the debate. I don't think Nick will do that. I think you'll lose. Dave seems to have a lot of legal knowledge, okay? But if they ever did it, it would be so good. It would be so juicy to watch because they both clearly have different stances. And, you know, they took some jabs. He took some jabs at Nick's argument and Nick's appearance. And I think it'd be really juicy to watch that all go down. If these guys start a feud with each other, if they start giving it a little bit more of a back and forth, you heard it here first. I called the feud. I think it would be great. I think it'd be better for Dave, obviously, because I've never heard of his podcast, and I think Nick has got one of the biggest ones out right now, at least in this space. But I also think that it could be a fun take, and it could be something fresh for the Viall Files because it's getting a little old, and there's kind of way too many people on that show. I don't know who half of these kids are, and I don't mean that condescendingly, but like there's just too many young Gen Z voices in that room, and it's really confusing. And I know Nick's wife, Natalie, has become like an even bigger part of the show and a bigger voice and is almost taking the lead in some of these interviews, which I think is interesting. I don't know where any of these shows are planning on going down the road, but there's just too many voices on the Viall Files, and I think they should cut back, and I think Nick should get in a feud with someone, and they should maybe do like an episode where they're sparring about the Blake Lively Justin Baldoni case. Maybe they go bullet for bullet. I think Nick might lose though, because Dave knows his stuff. Dave came prepared, and I think he's got some legal stuff in his history. So, okay, speaking of legal, I have not been able to stop thinking about Southern Hospitality, which is by far one of the biggest breakout shows of the year, I think, for Bravo. Everyone is pissed they didn't get a real reunion. Emmy and Will went on the Viall Files and flipped the script on what my take on the whole thing was. At first he was like public enemy number 1, and now there's like public enemy number 4 with, you know, TJ Brad and Will and everybody. It's a big mess, but the show brought it this season. And I can't stop thinking about the law ball and the supposed bully at school, and I just need to get the legal tea. When Bravo celebrities are accused of crimes they may be definitely committed. When the FBI shows up mid-cocktail party. When a housewife calls her PI between glam and carpool. There's one woman we trust to break it all down. She survived law school so we could survive season 5 of Salt Lake City. She is our legal compass in a sea of subpoenas. Please welcome the official attorney of Bravoholics Anonymous, Alana Bondi. Please note our attorney is on lunch break. Alana?
Hi.
It's
I don't know why it wouldn't let me answer you.
It's okay. It's all right. It's like, no, we call you, you don't call us. Okay, we need legal advice on the podcast today for Bravoholics Anonymous. We need to know what law school's like because we're talking about the Southern Hospitality reunion, and there's this guy on the podcast that like got really wasted and ran up and down Main Street in Charleston and like said horrible things about his girlfriend, that like she's ugly and he's not attracted to her now and she's boring and she doesn't drink anymore and all this stuff, and to all of her friends and a bunch of people. And then he allegedly cheated on her with a brunette girl in a bathroom. And so the girlfriend who had to come out by herself at the finale and he hid backstage is like talking about how, and she said this on the show before the finale too, how there's this guy that has it out for him at law school and is like starting rumors about him and trying to like, like besmirch his character. And no one believes it. So I need to know what law school is like. And law prom. Tell us about that.
Okay, so law school can kind of be catty like that. I wouldn't say I've seen anyone like go out of their way to try to besmirch someone's character, especially completely unrelated to school or law. But I suppose in theory it could happen. I've heard in other schools where it's more, my law school is like, once you're in, and then you basically just have to like make sure you don't like fail out. But there are certain law schools that let in too many people and they have to fail out essentially like a certain number of people by the end of first year. And so I don't know what his school was like, but those ones are really cutthroat. And so people can get like really crazy, especially in the first year. And I've heard of people like cutting somebody else's like laptop cord so they like couldn't finish their exam.
What?
Or like, yeah, and like, yeah, I've heard of like really crazy things, like trying to like steal their books so they like couldn't study. And yeah, so people can get really psycho, especially in those law schools. But I think in general, every law school is very, it's kind of like summer camp, but for 3 years. And so everyone's like way too close to each other and spends way too much time with each other, and everybody sleeps with each other.
Is it because there's like so lots of group projects or something? You
just spend like all your time either at school studying, and then you just become like, you're always with the same people.
Oh, and the same people are in all your classes.
Yes. So like in my school, we had 2 sections. And so you did your classes with like the same set of people, and then there was like the other half of the class did their classes with the other half of the people. And then by second year, you like kind of mix it up, but it's still like a pretty small group. Like my class was like 100 people. And I spent like all of my time only with those people. So yeah, like everyone dates each other, everyone breaks up, it gets really dramatic. It's a super common trope that anyone that comes into law school with a girlfriend will have broken up with them by barrister's ball, which is law school prom.
Oh my
or cheated on
God.
them. So that's
Barrister's
very common.
ball, the law prom. Every
Yeah.
law school calls it barrister's ball.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that is law school prom. But yeah, anyone who comes into law school, unless they're like married, is probably going to cheat on their girlfriend or boyfriend in the first year and break up. So.
Oh my God, because of the intimacy of the group.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, well, this is really insightful. I'm surprised that people are cutting people's laptop cords. Like, honestly, that is kind of extreme and kind of shocking.
Yeah. That didn't happen at my school, but I did hear one of the girls that transferred to our school after told me that happened in her old school.
That's wild. Okay, well, maybe there is a dude that has it out for this guy, Will. Who knows?
There could be. I mean, it would be, I don't really understand what he's trying to gain from that.
He's trying to deny the
relationship.
affair. He's trying to deny that he cheated on his girlfriend with this brunette girl who he admits stayed at his place for a couple days, but he was supposed to be out of town or something.
I question what the other guy who's supposedly making up the rumor would have to gain from that rumor. Because like things I've seen, it's like it would get you ahead in law school, or like, I don't know, rank you above somebody, or get you like a job you wanted to get. But like,
I know it's
what
all.
would this guy get?
I mean, this is all speculation, and it honestly feels a little Legally Blonde. Like, so it could be completely fictitious, and they made it up for like the show. But I also think that like Will is kind of a weaselly guy, and I could see him like thinking he's better than people and talking a certain way to people, like talking down to people in a certain way, and it like maybe it patronized this other guy, and he's like, okay, so if you think you're better than me, I'm just gonna like put all your shit on blast. I don't know, it's all speculation at this point. Even if the guy's jealous that this guy's on a TV show, you think you're better than us and you're on a stupid reality show, like I could see guys doing that.
Yeah, I could say that. I guess there was one. So this was 2 years above me, 2 or 3 years. No, it must have been 3 years because I wasn't in school yet. There was one guy who supposedly at finals, like he was mad at like the rest of the students because I guess they like didn't like him. They kind of made fun of him, and so he tried to sue all of them for defamation. In his last year during finals.
That's kind of like art. It's kind of like law art. It
can get really crazy, but yeah.
That's really funny. Okay. Well, this was good. Thanks for letting me call you on your lunch hour.
Thank you.
And thanks for talking to us about law school. We'll have to have you back on the show soon.
All right. Bye.
Okay, bye. If you are watching Southern Charm this season, you are starting to see the cracks in Paige and Craig's relationship like I am. And we knew it was coming, but I just didn't know how we would see it. And I'm dying. I sent this message to my friend Megan. I was like, when Paige said, just so you know, if I ever have to get up in the middle of the night and flee with the kids. And then Craig said, you'll be fine because you make your own money. And then he pours himself some orange juice and just looks at her. And that look, that dialogue between them, that was some dark stuff. That was some dark stuff. I don't know what else we're going to see, and I don't know if I can handle it. So I wonder how you guys are feeling about it. For the past few years, Paige has really been making Craig look awesome, and now I think we're about to see Craig never changed. She just polished a turd, you know? And he hasn't really done any of the work, and I really think that he's trying to steal her sparkle. And I just think that there are these toxic men out there that want to steal women's sparkle. And I heard that on Giggly Squad this week, she kind of like broke it all down and talked a lot more about it. Or maybe, oh no, it was the first Summer House after show. I don't know. One of these two things. I need to dig into it. I need to go check it out, and I'll report more on it next week in Bravoholics Anonymous when I get like the full download of what's going on and what she's saying, because I think we care about it. I think it matters. While we're still on the topic of Southern Charm, I was watching this week's episode, and as a professional dog mom, I have to say that Molly and Taylor getting like a latte, an ice cream, a pup cup, and trying to walk a dog, who thought that was a good idea? And it makes me feel like they never walk their dog, because maybe you can walk a dog with a latte. Maybe. I have 2 dogs. Archie, one that's you can see in my little cover image there, and another dog, his name is Burton. And walking 2 dogs with a latte is hard. So I don't know why they thought like latte ice cream. And then why is Taylor giving her dog ice cream? People really feed their dogs. That's just fat and sugar. That's not good for the dog. Don't give your Frenchie ice cream. It's not going to go well for you. You're going to have diarrhea later. I maybe was being a bit shady when I was like, are they trying to capitalize on the production budget for this scene? Like, are these 2 girlies, are Molly and Taylor not getting paid enough this season? So they like want to get one of everything at the ice cream coffee shop, you know, like make a meal of the day because they don't make enough money. I don't know. It was weird. Okay, so the JT and the Venita of it all. I was really into it at the beginning of the season. I thought it was cute. I thought like they were painting this picture of she's the only one that really gets him. He keeps getting set up and framed and called out for things he didn't necessarily do. He's kind of got a little dweeb energy. You know, the guys are giving him a hard time. Like Shep gave Austin a really hard time when he started. And JT doesn't handle it well. He walks away from it, probably because he doesn't need the show. But this whole thing with Venita and JT, the receipt for the jacket, you know, she's on the after show implying that she bought him a $5,000 jacket, and like how would his girlfriend feel if she knew? And then he's releasing the receipt that like he paid her back the same day because he just didn't have his wallet on him. And then we see in the episode this week, there's a phone call because this Ryan guy at the barbershop supposedly, allegedly overheard that JT called Venita some black girl. And then JT denied it, and him and Leva called his barber to confirm that he never said anything like that on camera. They call Venita. Venita's just like smiling gaga land doing the scene. And here's the hot take I actually have, is that I don't think Venita's interesting enough. She's not speaking her mind on camera unless it's like an after scene that I feel like is set up to explain something that's going on in this arc. I feel like Leva comes in and does scenes with like a Taylor or a Venita because she has to help prompt them into saying certain things for these like reshoot scenes. And I'm not sure, you know, we aren't positive about what's a setup and what's not a setup when it comes to making these shows. But I just have this suspicion because it's not Taylor or Venita's natural position to make good television. They kind of sit back and don't say anything, or they're closed off. I'm actually kind of shocked Taylor's still on the show. I think now Shep is looking out for her, and Shep feels really guilty. And so Shep is like getting his buddy Whitney to keep her involved. But as soon as Shep moves on and a couple months goes down and it's not like a Sierra situation, like the girl's actually into him and like living at his house all the time, I'm sure then we won't see Taylor on the show anymore. And I do think Southern Hospitality might be a better place for her because she is hanging out with TJ and she's hanging out with these other people. And honestly, maybe bringing Taylor onto Southern Hospitality will give some storyline for TJ in season 3, because we all know that TJ likes to play on the offense and likes to come at other people in their relationships versus letting the camera and the world explore his own. Okay, next, I need to call my sister because I'm sure we've all heard about Aaron from Ghost Adventures' wife trying to kill him, but my sister and I love to watch Ghost Adventures together, and this is really big news. So let's give her a call and let's get her take on it.
Hello?
Natalie,
What?
I'm calling you because we need to talk about Aaron's wife trying to kill him, the Ghost Adventure guy.
I don't know. I don't really know the story, but I just know that is crazy.
It's really crazy. Okay, so I know a little bit about it. Basically, one of the co-hosts of Ghost Adventures, not the Zach Baggins, your future boyfriend, but Aaron, like this guy Aaron, who's basically his right hand and will do anything that Zach tells him to do. If he's like, Aaron, crawl in this crawl space, like Aaron will do it. Aaron will do anything for Zach. He's obsessed with him, which is like the best part about Aaron. He's just so endearing. He's such a goofy nerd. He's like obsessed with Zach.
Mm-hmm.
His wife, like, I guess, reached out to some guy in prison in Florida and on a burner phone was trying to arrange like his murder. And Aaron was like sleeping in a hotel and she's texting this guy like, hey, I wired you the deposit. Is it done yet? He's sleeping in a hotel. Is it done yet? And then they like took the guy's phone and then it all got reported. And now she's being held for a very expensive bail. I think it's like $100,000 bail and he's not going to bail her out. So she's stuck there.
Why is she texting someone in jail who can't have a phone anyways about this, knowing that? Like, that's just dumb.
I know. It's like the movie Horrible Bosses or something. Like she didn't know how to get a hitman.
How much did she wire him?
There was a deposit of like $2,500, but like all in, the guy was going to get like just over $11,000.
That's it?
Yeah, hits are cheap, I guess. I don't know.
Oh my God.
But my thing is like this guy's traveling all the time. They're filming these like little docuseries year round. How much more free time does she need from him, or did she just want like all his money? Like I'm just so curious.
I don't know. What's her motive? We need to know.
We need to understand.
I think she's probably been counting on him, like breathing in asbestos in one of these abandoned houses by now and dying already, and he probably just hasn't.
Yeah.
She's really sick of him. Can you imagine having that crew bop around your house when they're not filming? They would be so annoying.
It'd be so funny, and they're literally like low key so rich. They're on like season 26 or something of that show, and it's like on A&E, and we know that the Duck Hunter guys and like all those hit like docuseries, or is it Discovery they're on? They basically carry the Discovery Channel.
I know.
They make good money.
All the people. Everybody just wants Ghost Adventures.
And do they live in Nevada or do they live in Florida?
I know Zach has a house in Vegas.
I feel like Aaron must live in Florida, or why would she be finding a hitman in Florida?
She seems like, if you're calling a hit on anyone, I feel like that's a Florida thing to do. No offense.
No offense to Florida people. You're right. Okay, fine. Okay, that's good. Well, I can't wait to see what happens. And I'm happy that now Aaron and Zach are on the market together, both bachelors on the town.
Okay, so you get Aaron and I get Zach.
Oh my God, I don't think I want to date Aaron.
It's not about him. It's about what we get in return, which is entertainment and their money.
I'll wingman for you for like 6 months for the story, and then I have to move on, because I just think Aaron and his like ADHD thing that he has going on is not going to mesh well with mine.
You're right. You two would be a disaster together.
But I really wish you and Zach the best.
Zach, he has too many women after him. The competition is getting too intense.
That's okay. Do you really care if he has a couple girlfriends?
No, I'd actually prefer that.
See? Exactly. Exactly. It's perfect. Okay, well,
like, don't touch me. Go stand.
Yeah.
Your girl Stacy's tonight.
Yeah, I have a headache. Call Stacy.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
I'm tired.
I'm sorry. I have to go watch the ghosts downstairs. I have to make sure they don't get into trouble. What's the little doll's name that he has in the museum? The Sally doll? I think it's like
Sally goes up to no good. She kept me up all night. I'm tired.
Okay, great. Well, that's it. That's the only reason I called. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, well, your mission is to go find out why she wanted to kill him.
Okay. Maybe I'll write her a letter in jail.
She'd probably love that. She likes to
correspond with people.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Okay, great.
With
well,
strangers.
I'll get down to it. I'm sure she's going to keep her lips sealed until the court case, but I can't wait. Okay, bye. Next, moving on to Summer House. I'm not going to go bullet by bullet about what's going on in Summer House because pretty much it's all just like Jessie looks like a huge skis. Little Miss Lexi is super triggered by all the boobs and her boobs not being big enough like everyone else's boobs. And watch if she comes back next season. I bet, actually they get most of their money by like their season 3 agreement, but maybe that's changed and now it's season 2. And if she goes and gets a boob job, I'm just going to feel bad for her. She's got some insecurity stuff she's dealing with and that really sucks. But Jessie sucks and she should have anticipated something bad happening by jumping into something so quickly with that tall buffoon. But I also just like really want Amanda to dump Kyle. I know that they're married, so it's not really dumping, it's like divorce, but just like, I'm just over Kyle. I'm over Kyle and like the DJing of it all. And like now he's doing a DJ series. He's going to like 6 locations or something. Everyone's talking about it. He's calling it like Sunday Turn Up or Sunday Scary, or I don't know what he's calling it. He's calling it something. But I'm just like over Kyle not taking accountability. And with this whole Paige thing, like the fact that he hasn't yet learned to like listen to someone who's upset with him and try to find a little bit of their perspective and like take a form of accountability here, it is beyond me. I can't believe that he doesn't understand why he shouldn't be rage texting Paige. And I just can't believe we're still talking about it, but I think it's annoying. And so I just really want Amanda to dump Kyle. And just like, I think if Amanda dumped Kyle, then Hannah, Paige, and Amanda could be best friends again. I think everyone would rally around Amanda. It would be like a new fresh tension in the house. She could be out on the scene again. The girls would be all single and partying, and it would like bring the life back into Summer House. Cause like the bed rot and all the bed rot ads, I just saw a Kind Bar bed rot ad with Amanda and Sierra, and I'm just over it. Like I'm not into bed rotting. Okay. I'm an active person. Maybe one day we're bed rotting, but it's not a whole lifestyle. And it's not something we're like, it's not going to sell Kind Bars. Okay? So Amanda, just dump Kyle. And also, I hope you guys listening aren't these women that are on TikTok right now going, we're still being so mean to West. Like, he's not as bad as Kyle. And here's my thing. Just because one guy is a piece of trash doesn't mean another guy can't be a piece of trash. West is just playing his little good boy act, and it's been like 4 or 5 episodes, okay? It's not like he's an angel all through the week and he's deprived and everyone's being so mean to him. Sierra doesn't need to be nice to West just because they live in the same house. They're exes, okay? Even if West didn't want to call it a relationship, he basically played relationship with Sierra. And just because Kyle yells at women and isn't a good person doesn't mean that West is a good person because he's not yelling at women. He's the opposite. He's completely retracting. And I think that like the people that see it have been in relationships with avoidant attachment people that have just completely abandoned them all the time. And that's why they're triggered and they get it. And the ones that haven't are like, oh my God, but why are we being so mean to him still? It's irritating. And the fact that Jessie is like all over Sierra the one weekend that Lexi isn't there just shows us what a boob he is. He's trying to stir up drama. He's trying to start trouble. And whether a producer's like telling him to do it or not doesn't matter. The fact is that he's like trying to make Lexi feel even more insecure because he knows that this stuff is going to get back around to her. Sierra or one of the girls is going to be like, yeah, he was like flopping on Sierra in the pool. You think Lexi's going to respond positively to that? And guess what? Like a guy who is a good person isn't going to make you feel that way if he really values you. So like Lexi just needs to steer clear. But I just think that she might get too triggered and she might not develop her own self on the show, and she might now be just like a one-hit wonder, kind of like Bailey, one-episode wonder. Next in news, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Brittany is on Cameo, like everybody else. And there is a man that's paying her to fake faint. So you can look it up and see that. It's weird. But I guess, if you're buying a Cameo, you can request anything like this. And it's just hilarious that he's making her fake faint in these videos. So that's cool. Check it out. Coming up April 12th, we have a new season of The Valley starting. And I've decided next week's episode, I'm actually going to do a deep dive of the first season of The Valley, give my thoughts on all the characters, give some predictions about what I think is going to happen in the new season. We know Kristen Doty is pregnant. We know that she is engaged. It's going to be Kristen at the helm. And then we're going to have all of the friends thrown to the wayside with either a newborn baby or a newborn divorce. So there's lots to talk about. There's lots to cover in the first season, and there's lots of toxicity from Jax. So nothing new there, but a great show, and it was a great first season. So I'm going to be covering that next week on the show, just doing a deep dive on that. Wait, start that over again. What?
Zach, I just opened Instagram and Zach Bagans is in LA and you should go find him.
What is he doing in LA this time?
I don't know, but he posted a story. He's at Bennett's Ice Cream and is by the Grove. And I'm working, so that means you have to go and find him.
Last time he was in LA, he was getting ice cream and he posted.
The man knows what he likes.
He's a big ice cream guy.
Ice cream.
Now you know what your first date has to be.
Okay.
Ice cream. Easy. He'd be like, hey, I really love ice cream. And he'd be like, oh my God, I love ice cream too. Ice cream and ghosts.
I've recently rediscovered.
What?
Is that rainbow sprinkles are really good.
I know. I love rainbow sprinkles. I just found a cookie recipe.
For a long time, and I just had it on ice cream recently, and it was the best thing ever.
No, rainbow sprinkles rule. They're good on donuts. They're good on cookies. They're good on cupcakes. I love a cupcake that is dipped in like a bunch of rainbow sprinkles. So the whole thing is covered in rainbow sprinkles.
Oh, that sounds incredible.
I know. This weekend, we should go get sprinkles cupcakes with sprinkles on them.
I've actually never had a sprinkle cupcake. I
Or
just wrote them off because of those machines they do.
Machines are stupid. We'll go to the window. Yeah, we'll just go to the window and order fresh ones. Or we can make our own cupcakes with sprinkles.
I like that. I also just might prefer ice cream.
Ice cream with sprinkles? Oh, see, you're perfect for Zach. You want the ice cream.
Yeah, I'm kind of jealous that I'm working and he's eating sprinkles right now.
Just tell them your dog threw up and you have to go find the sprinkles at the Grove. Why is he near the Grove? Everyone's going to see him and like flock him.
Maybe that's what he wants.
It's probably what he wants. Men.
He's like, my bestie almost got killed, and I want to talk to strangers about it.
And I want a photo op with the ice cream.
Paparazzi to catch me with my ice cream.
Okay. Well, I've got to go back to podcasting.
Okay, have fun.
Bye. Okay. Sorry. She just called me when I was about to jump into our next segment. Okay, next, I want to talk about traders casting. I have really been putting my thoughts towards my ideal traders cast. A lot of people have been sharing theirs on TikTok, and I just think I know better. And I'm not going to give us an entire cast because I'm not great with who the Survivor people are, but I do have some people that I need their hats thrown in the ring for the next season of Traders. So first off, from the gamers standpoint, Big Brother alumni Frankie Grande, aka Ariana Grande's super flamboyantly gay brother, he is a competition beast, and he is vocal and smart, and he's got great social game. Because he plays that gay card. He's not afraid to do it. And he's awesome. So I think Frankie Grande should definitely be on the next season of Traders. I know a lot of people are like Tom Schwartz or, Jax or whoever. I'm sure all the Vanderpumpers are fighting to be Sheena. Oh my God. Sheena's probably emailing the showrunners of Traders every week now that she got her like undercover singer appearance in the bag, and I bet Traders is next on her list. However, the Vanderpump person that needs to be on Traders, in my opinion, is Stassi Schroeder. Stassi is a huge horror murder fan. She is evil. She's known for being a villain and a hero. She was canceled and reborn. She's got a massive following. She's a New York Times bestseller, and she's not afraid to tell it like it is. She is making an appearance, or she's on the whole season, I guess, of the new Vanderpump Villa on Hulu this year. So I'm going to have to tune into that because her and Beau are on it as Lisa's eyes and ears in the villa. Probably so Lisa can just stay in LA and like Zoom call Stassi. But I think it's going to be great to see her back in the mix in a reality show. And if she likes a short-term window like Vanderpump Villa has for filming, then she would love Traders. And I think she would like to turn a look on Traders. So Stassi is my pick from Vanderpump to be on the next season. Another hard request for me, which probably will never happen. This one's an impossible ask. Bernie Sanders. How much fun would it be to see Bernie Sanders on Traders? I don't think he'll do it, but I'd like to see Bernie Sanders. Other Bravo celebrities, I love a Sonia Morgan. I love a Candy Burris. I think there's lots of other Bravo housewives that would do great at it, but my representational choice is Stassi. I also really want to see Spencer Pratt. I think Spencer Pratt would be good on that show, and he'd bring what needs to be brought in. My sister actually suggested this one, and I think it's really good. We need twins. We need a twin twist of some kind, and I think the Sprouse twins would be great. Let's have Cole and Dylan come on to Traders and have them be like the Disney heartthrobs of the season. They don't have much going on, right? Like, what are they doing? Be on Traders, Sprouse twins. I do think Nick Viall has been trying to get on. He's been talking a lot about it. I think he'd be good at it. I think he would probably be eliminated pretty quickly because not everyone would love him, but I think it'd be great to see him on there trying to play the game a little bit. Another hard ask that'll probably never happen is Howard Stern. I think Howard Stern would be another really good pick because he's an older dude and he loves reality TV. He's always watching and talking about The Bachelor. He asks good questions. So to have him be a faithful at the table, trying to interrogate or ask someone great questions would be awesome. He might just be too old to do it or want to do it. Nick Cannon would be great. I'd love to see Nick Cannon on it. I would love to see Shaq, okay? Everyone loves Shaq. And Shaq's a smart guy. He not only does like analysis of sports, which is whatever, he's funny, he's done movies, and he is a investor in a number of startups. He loves tech. He's met a lot of people, and I think he has a lot of skills he could bring to the table, both socially and, from a faithful standpoint. I'd have him be a faithful. But I think people would really like Shaq. Kris Jenner or Kim Kardashian. I think both of them would prefer Kim to be on it, but I think Kris might be more interesting. I think Kris Jenner can be a little bit of a pushover with her daughters, but she, like her daughters, loves a black man, and I think that she could be like kind of working with like Shaq or Nick Cannon if they were trying to like figure it out, like maybe they would have an alliance. I also think Kris Jenner's like a really smart person and she's an older woman. So again, we'll have some more diversity on the show in that standpoint. But Kim, of course, went to law school and she loves an appearance on anything. So I'm sure Kim would want to show on and what's the brand she's always wearing clothes for that had the pedophilia stuff come out recently? Is it Balenciaga? Yeah. She'll probably love to wear some Balenciaga on Traders. Okay, a big name, someone we haven't seen in a long time doing anything, and that would be comedic relief and an ally for Kris Jenner or Kim Kardashian, Jennifer Lawrence, you guys. Jennifer Lawrence, I know she's a major star, and like Traders hasn't gotten a major star like this yet, but I also think that the last season was such a big deal, had such a social impact, that we could see a really big star on Traders season 4. It's only a 2-week commitment in Scotland. Even if they made it an extra episodes were greenlit and they did 3 weeks or something like that, it's not that big of a commitment. It could really diversify. It could put her in a fresh light. Jennifer loves talking about reality TV. She loves Bravo. She's appeared on Watch What Happens a number of times. I think Jennifer Lawrence would be so much fun to watch on the show. There are so many drag queens that I would love to see, like a Coco Montrese or Alyssa Edwards, but also, of course, Trixie Mattel. Trixie Mattel is a household name at this point. She is a big get, but again, season 4 is going to be bigger than season 3. They're going to have a bigger budget, and it got tons and tons of attention. Everyone was really into it. So I think that Trixie Mattel would be great. Of course, an Alyssa Coco, though, rivalry would be really fun to rehash if they had both drag queens on the show. That was one of my favorite feuds, season 5 of RuPaul's Drag Race, between those two. It just hilarious. This one I saw on a lot of TikToks when I was scrolling, and I kind of loved it. And it's Ronald from Jury Duty, but make him a traitor. I thought that was genius. He's so innocent and so sweet, and I know he probably will never get the gig, but it would also be really funny. It'd kind of give Bergie from Love Island vibes. You pity him so much you're rooting for him. So it'd be fun to see Ronald from Jury Duty be a traitor. This one, credit goes out to my sister because when she said it, I was like, genius. I wish I thought of it first. Danny Trejo. Danny Trejo on Traitors would be hilarious and awesome. I think he'd do it. He does all sorts of stuff. Here's another one I had that I really loved. Jeff Probst from Survivor, the host of Survivor, you guys. Let's have the host of Survivor on Traitors, and let's let him play the game. I think Jeff, observing Survivor players for so many years and interviewing them for so many years, would have such a fresh, fun take on playing Traitors. I would love to see him in the mix. I think it'd be great. Okay, here's another really big name. Another really big celebrity name that you guys are probably going to roll your eyes and be like, there's no way this guy would ever be on Traitors season 4, but I'm telling you, he's done weirder stuff. And it's Will Ferrell. I think Will Ferrell should be on Traitors season 4. I think he'd be so likable, so funny. It would be impossible to think he's a traitor. And he should be a traitor. That'd be so wicked. I think that Will Ferrell is a great pick, and he should definitely try to be on the show. 2 weeks of work. His improv skills would deliver amazing one-liners. It would just be what we need. So someone tell Will. Leslie Jones. Okay. I think Leslie Jones would be awesome on Traitors too. I think she's intense and she'd be a great faithful. I think she's smart, she's articulate, and she's so funny. Come on, is this list not the best? I literally think all of these people would be so good on the show. Okay, next, another Disney heart, because I'm sure the Sprouse brothers aren't going to actually take me up on the invite. Vanessa Hudgens. She had her baby. She's been with it for a year or so now. Let's get her out of the house. Let's send her to Scotland for 2 weeks. Let her adopt the headband that Britney, that Poverty, that the girls wore in previous seasons. Vanessa Hudgens, my choice for the headband wearer of season 4. Her red carpet commentary would be also really great on the show. She could, dabble into the looks a little bit more, kind of be in the room and ask people about their outfits and what inspired them. Peacock, that could be extra content that you could be releasing on socials, or that could help plug the brands that you're partnering with or your wardrobe department's partnering with. Come on. Vanessa Hudgens is a good choice. And then everyone, I think we can all agree that Macaulay Culkin would be a really great pick. He's not doing anything except being Brenda Song's husband. So I think Macaulay Culkin, after his brother won the Oscar, would be a wild person to have in the house. I don't think he would necessarily be able to contribute a ton, but I think his presence alone and his scatteredness alone would be giving Carolyn vibes, and it could be really fun to add into the dynamic of what's going on Traitors season 4. And so I'm sure I'm going to have more picks. I'm sure there's a million people I left out, but these are just some of the fun ones I had that I think should be on the show. They're wild takes, but like I said, season 4 is going to be bigger and better than ever. And I agree with my past guest, Thomas Norman, who came on the show and said, traitors should not tell us who the traitors are. I think it would create so much more of a buzz around the show if we didn't know who the traitors were and we were guessing along the way. And those are my picks and my suggestions for Traitors 4. I think it's time I jump into Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, because Everyone is a flutter about this most recent episode. It was great. I mean, I saw the scene I'd been waiting for since episode 1's like preview of the season, which is Sutton on trial on the ocean. And we'll get to it. But first I want to say that Garcelle and Kyle both wearing the same ugly white dress was so much fun. I loved that Garcelle had fun with it and did a little catwalk. It's an ugly dress. They both chose it. It's hilarious. And I really love it when they do theme to dress. So if they're all doing whites for dinner, it just makes the fights more aesthetic. Kyle asks the waiter Erickson to hold the mashed potatoes because she wants to take thirst traps. And I'm like, yes, 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 Kyle. Like the whole thread of St. Lucia thirst traps that's going on throughout the whole episode had me rolling. And it had me like really feeling connected to the housewives and really excited that they were all excited. And they're all single now. And it's kind of fun to see women of this age like getting into the thirst trap. And even when they were like prompting Sutton to pose, they're like, open your mouth. I was laughing because it was hilarious. So I mean, they were making me laugh watching all of that. Another thing I thought was worth pointing out is like Dorit says that she doesn't walk around naked, even around her husband. And Bose is like, I love being naked. It's part of intimacy for me. And I'm stuck here. I don't really like walking around naked in front of people either. And I think it kind of just all comes down to how you were raised and like what's normal for you. I don't think it means Dorit's insecure about her body or she doesn't have like a certain level of intimacy with her partner. Maybe it does. I don't know. Is this something I should like be calling a therapist about? Bose. I don't think just being naked means you're being intimate. Jennifer Tilly says she would wake up at 5 and put makeup on and go back to bed. So when she would wake up with her boyfriend, he would be like, wow, she's so beautiful when she wakes up. It made me laugh because it feels like such a dated thing. I don't think like when a man wakes up, he's looking at you like that ever. I think he's thinking about his breakfast or he's going to like fart or something and it's going to be horrible. And that's just like men. I think only women think about that stuff. But it was cute. And it was nice to see like Jennifer Tilly like give us a little insight into her because I know she says like quirky, crazy things, but I feel like we haven't learned a lot about Jennifer Tilly this whole season and I have wanted more. And so this was like a cute little like insight to how she thinks and who she is. And Dorit recalls Sutton's sister intention where she bound all their hands and said, we're sisters now. And then says it flew out the window the next day, which we know. We see it on camera and I totally agree with her. Jennifer vocalizes support for Sutton here, and I think that is a really big moment because up until this point, Tilly has steered clear of the table battles. She hasn't really said much to support Sutton, and I feel like going into this trip, Sutton like almost rallied the troops, and similar to how Kyle tried to do it a couple weeks ago at the restaurant. And she rallied the troops and was like, Tilly, I got you on the show. You got to back me. If they come for me this weekend in St. Lucia, I really think she did that. And Erika starts talking and Sutton gets so triggered. She starts elevating her voice and starts victimizing herself. We aren't all going to beat me with a stick. That moment stuck out to me. The moment one person besides Dorit speaks to Sutton about something and they're not on Sutton's side, like, it's okay for Tilly to back Sutton and she can talk and, like, come down on Dorit. But if someone else says something to Sutton, and she was calmly, like, sharing her take, all of a sudden, everyone's ganging up on Sutton. And Sutton starts elevating her voice and getting all crazy. Like, it's evident. And here is Garcelle in the confessionals right after that. The only place Garcelle will say anything worth camera time is in the confessionals. And it bothers me so much. Why does she never do this in the moment? Is it because Garcelle's an actor and she needs someone to feed her a line? Like, I'm starting to question Garcelle's presence on the show because all the juice that comes out of Garcelle, all of her takes are in confessionals up until this point. And I'm just so annoyed. I'm like, say something in the moment, Garcelle. Say one of these quippy little lines in the moment, or are you too scared? So Sutton actually apologizes at the dinner about the wallet comment. And I'm kind of shocked. Because how often have we seen Sutton apologize for anything? I think Dorit is shocked too, and I don't think Dorit believes it at all because Dorit is basically trying to say, you're only doing this for the camera. 3 weeks have elapsed or something like that, but she can't say that because it breaks the fourth wall, even though I think it's time, Bravo, that you let us do it. We've already done it on other shows. let them do it here. But anyway, she's maintaining the fourth wall. She's not breaking it. And then Bose calls out Dorit. And I think it's kind of cool because like it shows that Bose is like just really living in her experience. Dorit, she's apologizing to you. Like, do you hear it? And then we get a confessional right after of Sutton calling Dorit brokey. And we all knew that Sutton wasn't authentic in that apology. We all knew that Sutton was just embarrassed for throwing her wallet on the table at that caviar and caftan brunch. And it was so distasteful that she was going to look bad. That's the only reason she's apologizing. I don't think she's really apologizing for rubbing her money in Dorit's face. I think she loved doing it. I think she loved it. Bose hasn't been around Sutton that much, and Bose is doing this really great thing as a new housewife where she's just believing what she sees and believing the action that she's around and not taking people's previous perceptions of stuff. But later we hear Bose confess that Sutton's not the type of person she thought she was when they get on the boat. So I thought it was cool, and I thought it gave us some insight as to how like Bose is seeing the season and how she's like interacting in this new group of friends. And I think it might have been like some really great advice she got from somebody before she started, and it seems to be working really well for her, and I like it. It feels authentic and it feels natural. And so I love Bose. I love her. And Erika is my housewife of the week, okay? Because she kills it in this episode. She says everything I want her to say, and she's doing it in the scene, Garcelle. Take some notes. Erika's killing it. Her confessional at this moment here is so enlightening for us. She basically says, Sutton says all sorts of mean things and then apologizes, and we're left wondering, like, what was she more serious about, the insult or the apology? Like, which one did she actually mean? Because it couldn't have been both. And she does it so frequently, and she lashes out and is mean so many times. The perception is that she's that person and that she's not remorseful. And I thought that was a great edit for them to put in that little confessional at that moment because it was enlightening. It really helped see things. And it's true. We've been watching the show for seasons. We know how Sutton can be. Bose is my kind of girl, okay? And a 3-minute audio message that she called a podcast being like, girl, your man is here and just say the word and I will run up on him had me like, yes, Bose, that is me. If I was at the restaurant and I saw y'all's husband or y'all's boyfriend like out with somebody else, the messages would be flying right away and I'd be telling you. And I just love that. And I still feel like I would be best friends with Bose. I think we could really kiki about what's going on in the group. She's the best. And then Sutton says she hopes Kyle shares her story because it's a great story to tell in regards to Morgan, because Garcelle is bringing up the Morgan stuff again. And Garcelle is like totally triggered that Sutton didn't have her back. And I think we're starting to see, at least in the edit of this episode, that there are some little road bumps in the friendship of Sutton and Garcelle that might be finally brought to light. Because up until this point, those two started together and they've been ride or die together. And I think neither of them wanted to break loyalty to each other because they were both like supporting each other this entire time. And they're like, this person's faithful. I'm not going to back down on them. They're like in my corner whenever I go into these reunions, whenever I go into these confrontations, this person has my back. And now I think that they're starting to get on each other's nerves. And Garcelle's like, why are you chasing after Kyle so much? I'm here and I'm your friend and I don't feel like you're backing me. And Sutton's like, don't bring up Morgan. Kyle said not to bring up Morgan. So it's causing a riff. Similar to how Sutton doesn't like when Dorit and Kyle are friends, I don't think Garcelle likes it when Sutton and Kyle are friends, which is crazy. I think everyone could just be friends, but everyone's jealous of each other and they're all keeping it on the DL. Last week, I made fun of Sutton and her fashion show, but I gotta tell you, this bathrobe that she's wearing when the two groups of women do their breakaways after dinner, so there's like a Dorit, Erika, Bose scene, and then a Sutton, Garcelle, and Jennifer Tilly scene. Sutton's wearing this house coat, this bathrobe that I need to have. I'm not sure if it's cashmere, if it's satin or silk. It looks like it has a little bit of a sheen to it, but it looks so soft, and I just like want this robe. I love the color. I want it. I loved it. And I was like, oh my God, is this the first thing Sutton's ever had that I think like is tasteful and that I want? Maybe. In this same sit down, Sutton is gushing that Kyle spoke up for her and she was excited that they really are friends. And Garcelle calls out Sutton for having a blindfold on with Kyle. And this is another part of the edit where we see Garcelle being like a little bit triggered that Sutton's like still trying to be friends with Kyle, especially after Sutton chasing and screaming at Kyle the whole previous season. You know, it's insane. I don't really get it. Like maybe she watched it back and was like, why was I treating Kyle that way? I want to be better this season. So now she's like trying really hard. I don't know. The women start hitting the beach and Bose is like, we are the Avengers. And literally it felt like that. It felt like they were the Avengers walking down that beach in armor because their outfits, they were accessorized like head to toe. Bose had like, I don't know if it was earrings or if it was like a hair piece, a clip of like this metallic hardware that was like in her hair. But literally they looked like the Avengers walking down that beach. They were wearing caftans or like cover-ups on the way to their yacht. And everyone else is just laying out on the beach and is all skin. And I just thought they stuck out like a sore thumb as they moved down the beach, especially with the camera crews. I'm sure that it was just stealing the show on the beach. Everyone was probably staring at them. Please all rise. Court is now in session. The plaintiff, Erika, makes the case that Sutton kicks a dog when it's down. She's critical and not compassionate. She did it to Erika the season she was going through it, the divorce with Tom Giardi and everything else that was going on in relation to the earrings and whatever. She did it to Kyle last season when she was going through it with Mauricio. The tabloids were picking up everything with her and Morgan. She was jumping down her throat then, and now she's doing it with Dorit. And she claims that Sutton is posing as a friend and is working as an enemy. Garcelle's just the wow. I feel like when Garcelle says something like wow, it's like her idea of contributing and like being shocked about what's being said, but she's not technically taking a stance. And I'm so happy that Erika is the plaintiff here and is coming at Sutton because she is killing it this episode. She's saying exactly what I'm thinking. There is a clear pattern here of Sutton attacking women when they're down. And she is the ultimate non-girls girl. I think like meeting her mom this season, seeing all this stuff about Sutton, I've never disliked her more. And maybe it's the edit. I mean, I am always susceptible to changing my opinion. I could change my opinion next week and love Sutton if they, you know, I'm always rooting for the underdog. But today, I cannot stand Sutton. I hate Sutton. Today, I'm Team Erika. This statement she gives on the yacht couldn't be more true. I love that she does it when Dorit and Kyle are actually not there. She doesn't need their support. She doesn't need other women to back her up. Erika is so strong and powerful. And it's just like, there are housewives that like whimper and cry and need support from other housewives. Like, why didn't you back me up? Why didn't you blah? Like we've seen Elisa Barlow do it. We've seen a Meredith Marks do it. We've seen Sutton do it. We've seen Garcelle do it. But you know what? The stans, the housewives that have been around and like are, in my opinion, like the housewives, they can fight these battles themselves and they can say what they want to say themselves. Erika's got that. Kyle's got that. Dorit's got that. They can say what they mean. And it's just like the housewives that want to have people have their back all the time. I don't know. I'm not rooting for them. It's so weak. It seems so weak. So I love that Erika comes at Sutton on this boat and makes that point because roll the recap footage, roll the montage, we see it. Production shows us Erika's argument, and I love it. And then Sutton starts immediately playing the victim, and it's so annoying. It just makes me more angry at her. It makes me more angry at her. Oh, they're always coming for me. They're pretending to be my friend. And then there's a confessional of Garcelle being like, what? Where's Kyle defending Sutton? Like, what? Sutton is insane. Why would Kyle want to defend her? You know, I know Kyle and Dorit join this conversation at a certain point, and then we see this confessional. So Kyle and Sutton join the conversation, and then we see this confessional with Garcelle where she's like, where's Kyle defending Sutton? What? Garcelle, like, Sutton is insane. Erika's right. Kyle sees it. She was the victim of it the previous season. Why would she be defending Sutton? She was literally the victim of it the previous season. Why would she defend her, Garcelle? Okay, and that's everything for this week. We covered so much ground. Next week, again, I will be covering season 1 of The Valley, doing a deep dive. Let me know on TikTok and Instagram your thoughts on the episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, I don't know, whatever else options they give you for the podcast so others can find it too. And our meeting is adjourned. Until next time, keep your champagne cold and your taglines iconic.